We're back and on to track 6. This is The Lost Art of Keeping a Secret by Queens of the Stone Age. Sean, you brought us this one. The lead singer is John Home, which is a 1973 water ox. So not yet a snake. Sean, tell us about this track and this band.
Yeah, yeah. I did not put Queens of the Stone Age song on here because the lead singer is an ox. So, uh, well, this is my 5th year of the snake in my life. I've been on the planet for many 12-year cycles at this point. And I was, as the project unfolded, one of my thoughts was that I wanted to think through those different years of the snake and find one that was interesting. So I think my most snake-like year was 2001, especially when you think about some of the things that we've talked about Year of the Snake: transformation and change and strategy, transformation, things like this. So, and there were some good ones to choose from, including my high school graduation was a snake year also, the year that I finished high school and then went to college. And so a lot of change and transformation. And for a long time, I was looking at 1989 and thinking that I was going to pull a song from that time in my life. But as I got thinking about it further, I wanted to go here. So let me tell you the story. Notsuo starts in the year 2000, and starting a new team, you kind of need a logo. And I didn't want to do something that gave away what the name meant. So I decided that we would follow the Lunar New Year and make a new design every year. And so since it started in 2000, the first design was a Year of the Dragon, one of my favorites of all time. But then in 2001, year 2 became the Year of the Snake. And so that's why I have changed shirts. And I wanted to show the Year of the Snake. This is the Chinese symbol for snake. And then you can see it's blurred a little bit. It's like a blurry snake.
The Year of the Blurry Snake.
Year of the Blurry Snake. Yeah. Turns out it might have been Year of the Freezing Cold Shivering Snake.
That's right.
Because that year in Italy was cold and it was rainy and we played poorly. And one of the things that happened is that the tournament reporter, Tony, who has since become one of my good friends, he wrote some scathing things about how we played. We won year 1 in 2000, the Year of the Dragon. And then in 2001, we came in, we played poorly. I think we finished 5th, lost in the quarterfinals. And these things that Tony wrote were things that I printed and I hung on my wall and I looked at every day for the rest of the year. And I got super focused and driven, maybe even angry. And I decided that I was going to go behind the curtain and I was going to emerge transformed. I was going to don't waste the pain, have a don't waste the pain moment. And I was going to take the setback of playing poorly and the team, not coming out on top because we knew we could. We just kind of got in our own way. And I decided that I was gonna go behind the curtain. And so I made a bit of a playlist, and these were some things that I would work out to. And in some cases, I was, I had an office back then, and I could close the door, and I would try to bang out as many sit-ups as I could in the duration of this song. And I just was, and I would just like go all out. Anyway, I had 2 of the best seasons ever in my life in 2002 and 2003. And I think it's partly because of this not wasting the pain moment. I think the snake had the wisdom of the transformation and the opportunity. And so I went for it, and I wanted to include this song because I think it embodies the spirit of a Year of the Snake learning that I had in my life. 2001 was the Year of the Metal Snake, and when you think about that, metal elements are generally, strength and determination and ambition, resilience. And then snake traits, as we talked about, wisdom, transformation, strategy. And then it's also a yin year, as 80 had talked about, and that was more subtle and introspective and calculated. So turns out that, that 2001 year, was a chance for me, I think, to change my trajectory as an athlete. And I decided to go deep, and this song was part of it. I didn't want to tell anyone. I wanted to just go do the work. I wanted to sweat and bleed and grind, and then I wanted to come out, and I wanted to make my mark, and that was a year of the snake experience for me. So I'll leave that there and let one of you pick it up and see what you think.
I'll take it because I needed that story because I don't know if you noticed the visualizer, and I'm going to put it on the screen here.
Yeah.
Do you know the visualizer for the song has a snake on it?
I did.
You did?
It's not why I picked it, but I thought it was so cool.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting because I as we do, we try to interpret why the song was added. And for the ones that were called serpents or snake, pretty obvious. This one was one I was like, interesting. There's got to be a story back behind there because it can't just be because the snake is in the visualizer. Sean is deeper than that. So I'm so happy to hear that story. I was connecting in my head too, like the strategy part, the calculating part, being like, okay, that sounds like somebody might keep a secret, but man, that's super powerful to know that this song has a role in you keeping that secret and that motivation to come back in the story of the year of the blurry snake not being how it panned out for Notsuo, and then having success beyond that because of the secret, because of the commitment. That's super cool and inspiring. The song was interesting to me because I was trying to kind of find some things. And I think the video you posted is actually also a live performance, this time on Conan O'Brien. And you get a sense from when Josh is playing the guitar of how he's like kind of muting as he's playing in a very interesting rhythm that is uncommon. So I thought that was some interesting elements here, but man, to hear the story of why this song, as well as, man, it's a 3.5 minute shredder, doesn't that's a lot of sit-ups to try to cram in there and do them as fast as you can too. So that image is impressive, but thanks for the story behind it, because I think that really adds to the element of what this means in your life and in a year of the snake, the metal snake, what that means. So super cool.
Yeah, I'll echo the cool part of your story being what attracts me the most to this track. And super cool that there's a snake in the visualizer. Love that we get more nuanced story about Notsuo and the background and the history, especially since Notsuo follows the Lunar New Year. So it makes sense that Year of the Snake would be one episode where we get to talk about it. So I'm glad that you brought it up and brought some of that in. For those that don't know about Notsuo, there is a documentary that I produced. It's 30 minutes long. We'll make sure to get it in the show notes if you want to find out more. And we do have a whole section about the different jerseys and the different themes, and even I don't think we actually cover it in the movie, but the backstory of Notsuo may be interesting to talk about, Sean, and how you decided on following the Lunar New Year. Do you want to tell that origin story?
Yeah, well, the name of the team, we're inventing a new team, and we needed a name, and I wanted to do something that was more subtle and not obvious. And I was living downtown in Houston at the time, and there was this bar within walking distance that was called Notsuo, and I decided I was going to walk down to this bar and sit there and think about a name for this team. Have a drink, relax, sort of see what influences are there. And I get there, and sure enough, I think, how about I name the team Notsuo? That actually sounds really interesting. It's not obvious. And then I think I talked to the bartender and I say, hey, we've got a Frisbee team. It's named Notsuo. Maybe we can, get like a sponsorship or, something. We'll come in here and we'll have drinks after we play. And they're like, yeah, great. No, probably not on the sponsorship, but sounds good. Yeah, please come in here and have drinks. So that was, just, I think, kind of random and funny. And then, yeah, in terms of the following the Lunar New Year, I think that, it's always around Easter time, the tournament. And so you have sort of the last 3 months before you go are often what makes that Paganello event in Italy special. And so I decided that, something that caused us to turn the page around, late January or mid-February was a good thing. And I had a lot of design energy in my creator persona at that point. And so I didn't want to just make a logo and keep it each year. I decided that, following the Lunar New Year meant that we had an opportunity to have new colors, new design, and new logo each year, and just experiment with that. So that was a lot of fun. And then, what happened after that 2001 fifth place finish is that we went on to win the tournament 3 years in a row and set an all-time record for the longest winning streak by a team ever in the history of the tournament. So it just felt like that story that stood out as a moment in time, and just how much the Year of the Snake had to teach. I was aware of the Year of the Snake, obviously, from the jersey in the time we were doing it. But once the project opened and the theme Year of the Snake, I started going back and thinking about, well, what's something I've learned in a Year of the Snake that was a meaningful moment? And this, there were many, but this was the one that floated to the top as the one to talk about. And then the song, we haven't talked much about the song, but it's far from a throwaway song. I mean, it's 3.5 minutes of some good stuff. That guitar, a crunchy guitar, and the wall of sound. I mean, it's good stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that story. Just last night, True was wearing 2004 jersey, which is the Houston throwback Astros jersey. And I don't remember which of my children, but somebody said, "Oh yeah, Houston," and then they were like, "Why are you saying Houston?" It's like, because it's Houston backwards, and they were like, "What?" So it was kind of funny to have all that come through. I remember there was some kind of festival called Notsuo also, which had some like Chinese symbolism, even though it wasn't Chinese focused or something like that.
Yeah, it was a turn of the century, so 1900s festival. And yeah, there were a bunch of parts to that had words that were written backwards and sort of pronounced differently. I don't know why, but there was. Now that's a troubled part of the past in the South in general, is that time. So I don't lean too much into that historical event. But yeah, there was a festival. And I don't recall a connection to something Chinese there. I think that the Lunar New Year part was more me wanting to change the design each year, and also to bring in what felt like some brand new energy into the team each time. You'd turn to the Year of the Snake in late January or February of 2001, and then we would go 8 or 9 weeks later and compete. So that felt like it was nicely aligned and proximal to what we wanted to do. I never really spoke to the team in the huddle about the year, the Lunar New Year. I may have like once or twice. It wasn't like a front and center feature, but there were a lot of people that asked about the name and asked about the design, and we of course took people up and explained it. And we had some players do the artwork for different things along the years and tucked in different subtle pieces to the artwork. So yeah, it was a big part of it.
Yeah, and it was a cool exploration with sublimated jerseys coming online and being able to print all over the jersey and do some really, really cool designs. Having been on the team several times, it's an honor to know the story, and that to know the background of this song is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll just add that our episode 25 guest JB was on that team, I believe, right? And part of the Notsuho heritage. So tying back to previous episodes is always fun. Love the stories.
It also ties back to the song that JB submitted for episode 19, when he submitted House of Pain, and he talked about going down to the boot of Italy for the tournament. That was also 2001's. And when he said we were down, it was because we played poorly. and it was rainy and cold. It was all Year of the Snake. And so we turned the page and went, we had already made plans to go to this next thing, and we get down there, and then Jump Around comes on, and we decide we're going to turn the page. But yeah, coming out of that Paganello 2001, the feelings were low. And I think looking back on it, the Snake had something to say.
Yeah.
There you go.
It blinked an eye at you.
Yes, it did.
All right. Well, let's let the listeners give it a spin here. This is The Lost Art of Keeping a Secret by the Queens of the Stone Age, off the album Rated R of the year 2000.